Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Vesuvius regular open meeting of council, March 25th, 2025 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So first off is the approval of the agenda, and there is one late item. No, it's not included there. Okay, fair enough. Can we have the approval of the agenda, please? Thank you. Councillor King, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, the regular open minutes of March the 11th, 2025. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you. And we have some people in the audience here who I think are anxiously waiting for some checks. And so that's what we're going to do next. This is the second round of the 2025 Community Service Grant Check presentations. And I'm going to ask Councillor Johnny and Councillor Myers to come up to the front there, please, and present the checks.
Thank you, Mayor Corriff. First check is the Soyuz Lake Paddling Club. Wow, nice shirts. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful
Thank you
shirt.
so much.
Yeah.
Council, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Thanks.
South Okanagan Chamber of Commerce. Nice. Be nice. Nice and nice.
Thank you. Awesome.
The Soyuz Elks Lodge number 436.
Now this is for coffee houses, and the first one is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Tickets are only $10 at the Elks Hall, live music, and you get coffee and a croissant with it. So doors at 7.
Good, perfect. Lake Soyuz Sailing Club.
Thank you.
Thanks. Soyuz Child Care Center. Soyuz Music in the Park.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And the Soyuz Festival Society. Mr. Baker. Thanks. There you go. And that's it. Awesome.
Could
Anybody not get their check? I got an extra one.
everybody come back up to the front? We'll take a picture with Myers and Johnny. Okay, just Don's at the back and he'll take a picture of you all if you face him.
You guys are the.
Oh,
I also accept all checks. Myers, if possible, kind of stay as close on a single line as possible, otherwise it's distorted. Ken, could you maybe come up on the side? Sure. Okay. Okay, perfect, thank you.
and can I just say thank you to all of you for the volunteer work that you all do to put on all these festivals for the town. We're happy that we had some extra money and I'm happy to provide it to the groups that make it happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. That was just in time, Councillor John. Okay, next we have, we're going to deal with water matters and Water Districts 8 and 9 financial accounts to report on expenditures from Water District amounts of $18,317.27. The options are to move this for information purposes. Councillor King is seconding that. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you very much. And staff reports. 17, the four-year master standing offer for engineering consulting services. Mr. Risling.
Thank you, Your Worship. As council and the public is aware, we're undertaking a lot of infrastructure projects and we require the expertise of external engineering services to help us along the way. We issued an RFP a few weeks ago and went through the scoring, and True Engineering was the firm that came out on top, and therefore we're requesting that the council authorize the CAO to enter into a four-year master standing offer agreement for engineering consulting services with True Consulting. I think it's important to note that True has a long history with the community. And we're aware of many nuances within our system. So this is a good opportunity, not only for them, but also for us because of their vast experience. I think it's also important to note that some people believe just if you hire an engineer, they can do all the work, and that's simply not the case. It's much like any other professions. There's specific disciplines that they're experts in. Some are good with water, some are good with roads, some are good with bridges. And so the positive with True Engineering and a lot of engineering companies is they have this expertise all underneath one umbrella. And so, yeah, that's where we're at, unless council has some questions.
Go ahead, Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just curious, how do you come up with a 4-year? Why not 3 or 5? Comes a 4-year term.
If council wants to change, we definitely can.
I just wondered if there was a
I think,
rationale why 4.
Yeah, there is an opportunity to enter into another term. I think it was just felt that a little bit longer provides us a little bit of security on our side, also as well as them from a staffing perspective. So I think it can be changed. I wouldn't go too much lower, and I wouldn't go too much longer, just from the perspective of, if we're not happy with services, we can go out again. And a shorter period then, again, doesn't put much security on their side. I must also emphasize, though, that on any given project, we don't always have to go to True, and we won't. Some things they may not be experts in, and we'll go someplace else, or maybe they're too busy. This is basically a fallback position for most of our projects, but it's not an exclusive agreement that we always have to use True.
I support. I just curious how you come up with 4.
Yeah, Bob,
Yeah.
you are.
Can I ask, I know that that we quite often do this, put out an RFP for engineering services, and I'm just wondering how many applications did you have for this particular position?
We only had 2.
Okay. And so there is a procedure that you look at, gauging what they have produced as to the RFP, and that's how you rate them and come up with the one that has the highest number.
Correct, Your
Is that
Worship.
correct?
Prior
Yeah.
to even issuing the RFP, we come up with a kind of a scoring sheet and provide those people with the opportunity to show that we're going to grade on past experience, depth, a bunch of categories, and we preset those, and those that submit are aware of what our grading criteria is.
Based on, thank you very much. I agree with that. I also appreciate the fact that at the very end of the report, it says others consulted. So not only operational services who deal with them most of the time, but the RDOS has a procurement manager, and they are helping anybody who joins, like Osoyoos and the RDOS, to come up with the best actual costs for anything that's bought. So I think it was a very important decision that the RDOS made to have a procurement manager, and everybody uses it now for sure. Thank you. Okay, so did we vote on that yet? No. Okay. So Councillor King, you have made the recommended motion. Are you and seconding it? All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay. Next is the general net payroll and Sunbolt Arena financial accounts. And as of March the 25th, general cash requirements are in the amount of $693,977.73. Sunbowl cash requirements of $11,002.72 and net payroll accounts of $106,092.36. Could we have a motion, please, to have these for information purposes? Councillor Chong, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you very much. And next is the traffic amendment bylaw. Information, consideration of third readings, and the neighborhood zero emission vehicles, low-cost electric powered vehicles. That's the issue. Mr. Risling, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. As council is aware, we talked about this at the committee of the whole 2 weeks ago. We're bringing it forward to act on the committee's recommendation. And just for the benefit of the public, we'll just run through the presentation we went through last go around just for educational and updating purposes. So as council is aware, they have a council priorities, strategic priorities chart. And one of the items identified on that chart is to look at potential of the zero emission vehicles. And administration has researched that and is presenting the following material. I think it's important to note that the provincial government provides the option to permit the use of these zero emission vehicles. However, to operate within the municipality must pass a bylaw indicating that they authorize the use of these vehicles. So from a legal requirements perspective, the vehicle is treated similarly to any other vehicle. They must obtain a license plate and insurance. And so they go to ICBC, they ensure that it meets the safety standards, et cetera, and issue the license plate and insurance. Road infractions would be done by the RCMP, and they follow the motor vehicle regulations similar to all vehicles. And just as a side note, administration checked with other municipalities that actually have implemented this bylaw, and the city of Vernon was an early adopter, and they've had the bylaw in place for about 10 years, and they've indicated there's minimal complaints. The only one that really comes in once in a while is that these vehicles don't really go much past 30. So in some areas they're driving a little slow, and so there's been complaints from impatient drivers. So there is a possibility of receiving some complaints from that perspective. And one of the other items that was talked about at the committee of the whole is maybe to ask Sergeant Beta to monitor the situation to see how things progress, and we can ask him on his quarterly updates, and also our internal bylaw officers and complaints line that we receive various inquiries from the public. We can monitor those as well. I think another positive with regards to these vehicles, it does provide an alternative cost-effective mode of transportation option. So which roads can be accessed? Council did talk a little bit about this, committee of the whole. There's the ability to actually limit certain areas of the community. Council decided, or committee of the whole decided no, it would open it up to the entire community. The only exceptions with that, again, is with regards to provincial legislation, is that these vehicles have to can only travel on roads that have a speed limit of 50 kilometers an hour or less. And they can, however, they can cross highways of the speed limit of 80 kilometers an hour or less. So they can't drive on those highways, any speed limits 50 kilometers an hour over, but they can cross a highway that has a speed limit of no more than 80 kilometers an hour. So as locals know, almost all of our highways or roads are within that speed limit. There are some exceptions, however, on some of the highways leading up to the airport that has a higher speed limit. So it's no different than any other vehicle. As if people purchase these vehicles, they have to learn the road, the rules of the road, and they would be responsible to ensure that they follow the rules accordingly. We just took a photo. This is what they can look like. In essence, they look a little bit like a golf cart, but they definitely are different than a golf cart. They have brake lights, signal lights, lights. So they have got a lot of the same features as a normal vehicle. So next steps, if council gives this bylaw 3 readings, it will be submitted to the Ministry of Transportation and Transit for approval of modifications. I think this is a very important piece for the public to know. Even though council supports this initiative, the Ministry of Transportation and Transit have to approve it, and they can make changes. They could say that, no, not on this road, or not on our highways, or that type of thing. So we have to wait typically a few months to receive a response from them. And once approved, then council can ultimately pass the bylaw. So we're recommending that traffic amendment bylaw number 1256-07, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time. If it is approved, as indicated earlier, administration will send it off to the Ministry of Transportation and Transit for their hopeful approval. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions first? Go ahead, Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we pass this bylaw and it goes through, and then say after 6 months we find it's not working in Osoyoos, we can change it, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so go ahead, Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. In your presentation, you showed an exemption on Highway 3 between Highway 97 and the airport. No, I'm just wondering why there's an exemption there when that highway is 80 clicks once you start around the
No.
bend there.
Maybe,
Maybe I interpreted it
yeah,
wrong.
through your worship, it's basically, those are the places that you can't, you can only cross. So it's basically the entire municipality, you can drive within those areas, but those areas, basically from Highway 3, it's kind of it's the opposite, yeah. So sorry for not being clear.
Councillor Chung,
I'll move option 1.
thank you. That the traffic amendment bylaw be read a first, second, and third time. And are you seconding that? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Risling. And next is the 5-year financial plan bylaw. So on January the 16th, the bylaw was, the 5-year financial plan was read a first time. It was read a second and a third time on the 11th day of March. And we are now looking today for the adoption of this bylaw. And it has to be done, I believe, by end of, I can't remember. I think it's May.
I think it's May. However,
Yes.
it does put us in a difficult situation with regards to our tax notices.
Yes,
Because we like to mail them
absolutely.
out a week or so
So
earlier, so.
We'd like to deal with this today. If there's anyone who would like to move the adoption of this bylaw. Go ahead, Councillor Poderica.
Thank you, Richard. I'll move adoption of bylaw 1256. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong bylaw.
Yeah.
The bylaw referenced, not the one I'm looking at.
1386.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
I'm looking at
thank
traffic
you.
bylaw.
14 and 14. Oh, yeah, there's too many of them in here. I'm reading the
1401.
page 1401 and it says down at the bottom 12th, yeah, financial plan. Are you seconding that, Councillor Bennett? All right, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much. And the bylaw notice enforcement bylaw. Who is this one, and is this just the adoption of this one as well?
Yes, Your Worship.
So I think I have it listed here. This bylaw, number 1392, was read a first, second, and third time on the 11th day of March, 2025, and we're now looking at the adoption, please. So it's bylaw notice enforcement tickets for the enforcement of municipal bylaws. Is there somebody who would like to make that motion? Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Bennett, all in favor? Thank you, everyone. And we're now going down to J, reports of committees and committee of the whole. So this morning, we talked about this and we would like to have this brought into, well, to be passed today. So that count, and here's what we passed. It's on a piece of paper. The council approve the Legion 173 request for a commemorative sidewalk. And that Legion 173 will pay all the costs associated with the crosswalk. And that Legion 173 will be responsible for maintenance of the crosswalk. And that was talked about today. So would someone like to move that? Thank you. Councillor King, seconder. Councillor Chong. All in favor? Thank you very much. And now we will look for the CAO's report, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, there's some things going on. This upcoming Saturday, there's Tiger Dam test, as council's aware. As a region, we each put in for some grant money to purchase tiger dams, and we were successful in acquiring those funds, and the tiger dams have arrived, and they're going to be doing a little bit of a test out in front of the watermark. So that's happening this weekend. Hopefully that's the last time they're taken out for a few years. And just want to congratulate Mr. Brian Ewart from who's been appointed to the council to be one of the town representatives on the Community Services Advisory Committee. The Accessibility and Age Friendly Committee is scheduling a session for April 10th at the Sonoras Center to provide basically an open house for local businesses on how they can become more accessible. There is a volunteer appreciation event scheduled for Wednesday, May 14th. And I think it's just important for people to know that there is a requirement to submit the return indicating that they've accepted. And if they are a nonprofit and they've been volunteering and didn't get an invite, to please contact us. I hosted a Red Cross babysitting class, which is a good thing for the community. Had more babysitters that have some training. The 2025 Spring Program and Activity Guide is now out and registration is open. The Adults Mixed Slow Pitch League registration is open. Season begins at the end of the month. Sunbow Figure Skating Club had their year-end show, and it was attended by over 500 people. Adam Fiesta, another huge success, and that was on March 14th as far as the opening ceremonies. And the South Okanagan Bandits played well and won the B division. We received. We're getting still a lot of FOI requests. We've received 6 so far this year, and it's consuming an incredible amount of time, pretty much 90% of one FTE over the last few weeks. Just a reminder for water meters, if those coming back from maybe down south, to give us a call. We have sent out reminder letters. And so we're just looking for the cooperation of the last few we have to install there. And so if you're coming back, give us a call so we can go do that work. Utility deadline, as people know, we moved to a quarterly billing system. That deadline's coming up pretty quick, and based on our records, there's still quite a few accounts that haven't paid, so we really want people to come in by the deadline, otherwise there will be a penalty associated with that. From the fire department, they've been training on pumps, and they're looking towards acquiring their Tyndall shuttle accreditation. That's basically an accreditation that illustrates that they can put out fires outside of kind of the fire hydrant area. So it's basically looking to see how they can shuttle water fast enough to adequately put out fires in an expedient manner outside our regular town boundaries. Operational services, there's a lot of capital projects going on. If you've driven around, there's some traffic stops and roads closed, so they're on schedule and on budget, so that's a great thing. And we're really looking forward to our new director of operational services starting on April 7th, Mr. Tyler Madsen. So we're looking forward to that. That concludes our report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Risling. Could we please have a motion to receive the report for information? Councillor Chong, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you very much. And now we'll go on to council reports. Councillor Chong, you're first.
Thank you. A little bit of a quiet couple weeks, but last Wednesday, so that'll be the 19th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce AGM. Lots of really great work being done by the Chamber. This time around, they were unsuccessful with the grant funding opportunity, which highlights just the difficulty that organizations have with applying. They had a strong application, but still there's only so much money in those funds. they've been creating these really in-depth, really cool videos to highlight the South Okanagan. So I would direct people to South Okanagan Stories. You can Google it, or I think it's a .ca. Let's see. Yeah, southokanaganstories.ca. And really just a compilation of different videos that highlight the different industries of our area. So lots of good conversations with other businesses, both Oliver and Asuyas. But that basically concludes my report for this time around.
Thank you very much. Councillor Poderica.
Thank you, Your Worship. Rather quickly, I was away for most of the last 2 weeks, but March the 11th did have the opportunity to attend the public information meeting with regards to the continued work on our short-term rental regulations, especially as we try and wrap up this hopefully in time for what should be an interesting summer season. But it's really important that we continue down this path to hopefully regulate and legislate short-term rentals, which in the past have been pretty well restricted in the town of Vesuvius, and look forward to seeing what the outcome of that when it comes to council. That's my report.
Thank you. Councillor King.
And thank you, Madam Mayor. As just mentioned, that's been a bit slow the last couple of weeks, but I just want to overside what the CEO mentioned on April 10th, the open house for accessibility. So the public is more than welcome, and businesses, where you can see what the committee has been working on for the benefit of the town, and also how you can make improvements to your house or your business. So I really encourage you to show up April 10th at Sonora Center evening. The other comment is I'm the representative on Community Futures for the town, and we had a Zoom meeting last week, and the committee is really lending out a lot of money. So if you have a small business and you're looking to expand and you're having difficulty with funding, maybe contact Community Futures to see how they could help you. That's my report.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Nothing to report this week.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just report on a couple of things. I'm a director on ETSI Economic Trust of the Southern Interior, and the spring funding is available now until March the 11th. It is for nonprofits and for a lot of communities, small communities. It's helping them with economic development. And last year in the spring, we gave out $625,000 due to the fact that our investments have been well diversified, and we've made some money this year. For the spring, we are giving out $1 million, and that's for the southern interior. That includes all of the Thompson Okanagan plus the Columbia Kootenay. So, and I think you can go up to 75,000 now for one application. So it's worth looking into that to see. There's all kinds of information on the ETSI website. I was asked to go to the Adam Fiesta, the opening ceremonies, and 3 days later to the under 13 Tier 4 provincials, both held here at the Sun Bowl Arena. It's quite an honor. I brought greetings on behalf of the town of Vesuvius, and I was quite impressed at the Adam Fiesta. It was the 51st annual. They actually started the tournament before the opening of the Sun Bowl Arena. It was obviously built but hadn't been open yet officially. And there were 16 teams. So there were 15 teams from Canada and 1 team from Spokane. And so at the beginning, everybody was standing up, and there was a young lady who sang the American national anthem, and everybody clapped after that, which that was very positive. And then the Canadian anthem, and everybody clapped for that one. And then the third thing was the Okanagan song, the OIB song that we hear quite often. I thought it was a very nice way to start the tournament, and I was happy that it was positive. So very happy about that. 3 days later, there were 8 teams and the under 13 tier 4 provincials, one of them being the South Okanagan team. And I didn't follow up on that one, and I'm not sure who won, but I know that the minute the Adam Fiesta people got off the ice, the under 13 provincials got on, so they had to finish it all in about 4 days. Well attended, and it was an honor to be there. The snowpack in the Okanagan, I know we've had a little bit of snow lately, and that's a good thing for sure, but it's at 82% of normal. It's only 60% of normal in the Similkameen. So when you see snow on the highways and up on the hills, we're happy about that because we don't want the weather to get warm and all of the water and the snow melt quickly, because we will definitely be in a drought if that happens. At the RDOS meeting last week, Oasis, Okanagan Similkameen Invasive Species Society, Lisa Scott gave a report on what they had done during the summer. They attend open houses, they attend parades, and they go all over giving people some information on how to protect their property, how to get rid of puncture vine, which is just a headache down here. Farther up the valley, they can get rid of it more easily, but it's hot down here and there isn't a lot of water, and puncture vine seems to thrive. So they do have information on how to get rid of it if anybody is interested or how to lessen it. I've also been on the Border Mayors Alliance at several meetings. I was on a webinar press conference last week, and there were about 14 of us, mayors from all across the country. I was the only one on for BC, but the concerns were the duty-free stores. And after I spoke, Cameron Bissonnette from our local duty-free store, who owns the one here and the one at Freegate, it's over in the West East Kootenays anyway, and he was quite concerned because the only way that people at the duty-free stores can sell product is if it goes into the States. You have to go into the States once you buy it. And therefore, the concern that many people are not traveling as much and not going down into the States, and the uncertainty about that is causing a great deal of concern for all of the duty-free stores across the country. So that was an interesting one to be on. I continue to meet the Border Mayors Alliance people and hear what's going on and how they're dealing with things. We are fortunate that we don't have the same issues as some of the very large cities, mostly in Ontario, because their back and forth is quite complicated. I still see lots of trucks and cars going across at our border crossing, so whatever is happening, they're obviously dealing with it at this point. Tonight, when I get home, I'm going to go on a webinar on the Columbia River Treaty, which is part of our water system. And there's been work for about the last 10 years on how to deal with the treaty, Canada and the United States. The latest that we've heard is that the United States has sort of put a halt to it at the moment. So I'm going to go on and find out what they're planning to do. But this has been a big part of our water management and dams and so on for many, many years. So it could be a little tricky. And I would like to just mention that 2 people from the South Okanagan were awarded King Charles III coronation medals. One of them, Marisa Tarr, Executive Director of Desert Sun Counseling, and the other one is Brenda Baptiste, who is with the OIB and has done a lot of work building healthier, more connected communities. So congratulations to them for being part of that and helping people. And that's my report. So I will move into the in-camera section. and pursuant to section 91 of the community charter, a part of the council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter is being considered relates to one or more of the following. 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service are at their preliminary stages and in the view of the council would reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. 91G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. And 91I, the receipt of advice that is subject to a solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. So could I have a motion, please, to go in camera? Councillor Chong, Councillor Poderica,